Hi, and welcome back. So, on Module 5, let's talk about triggers. You know often what are the causes for you to look at pornography. And if you find yourself one of the few that can go, let's say, for a few days or weeks or maybe even a couple months without using pornography, but then you are going to relapse back into that, you can identify the reason why. Well, specifically, there are triggers for that. Now, there's a couple acronyms, excuse me, there are a couple acronyms that have been used. The one that I prefer to use the most because it's helped me identify what my triggers were, and I think it also is easier to remember as well as identify, would be using the acronym HALT. Now, H stands for hunger, A stands for angry, L stands for loneliness, and then T stands for tiredness, right? And I think that those words kind of encompass not only the emotional, but as well as the actual physical reality of why we would look at pornography. Now, a trigger just simply is anything that will cause us to look at pornography. Are we hungry? Are we angry? Are we lonely? Are we tired? That can be used as the baseline, but to go even deeper into that. So I'm lonely, I'm bored, and being bored as my loneliness, I'm going to fill that need, right? We discussed this in one of the previous modules with pornography. For me, actually, the two that cause the most problems for me, that are challenges to overcome, my two triggers were anger as well as loneliness. A lot of anger, which I just allowed to kind of bend, just to build up and then explode either at people, or I was so angry I had this very inverted, twisted way of thinking. Okay, I'm going to punish them. I'm going to punish my ex-wife. I'm going to punish the person that rejected me for that date, or I'm going to. I'm so lonely that I'm going to seek the gratification of what a social group would be by looking at pornography. So the anger was this kind of twisted inverse. I'm going to kind of punish the person for causing my anger by looking at pornography as a form of relief, and the loneliness also, sought after through pornography. So those are just my two. Perhaps there's something similar there that you know of, or perhaps it's one of those others. Maybe it's a hungerness or tiredness, especially in the evening if you're having difficulty going to sleep and you've used as a habitual pattern the masturbation or the pornography to go to sleep. So that would be kind of the triggers. I just mentioned some of that. How do we correct that? All right. Well, we've identified what the trigger would be. So similarly, now we can look at some of those healthy habits, which you've already identified. Right. You've identified some of the healthy alternatives to your behavior, to your actions, and you've also already identified what your purpose is going to be in life. So the direction of heading towards that. Well, now we know the triggers, so we can also really identify what would be our positive habits to take care of. The time of the day, where should we be? Well, if we're lonely and we're tired, perhaps make sure that we're not going to be inside our apartment until maybe really absolutely necessary till the end of the evening, just as an example, right? If we're hungry, well, make sure that we're going to be eating throughout the day, maybe even little smaller snacks between kind of the bigger meals. Spend time with the friends. If we're in a relationship, spend time with a girlfriend. I also think it's important that if we find ourselves alone, we have to recognize that then we're engaging in conflict with ourselves. So try to avoid being alone. Try to be with someone, right? try to do some physical activity so that we actually are tired by the time that we go home, and then we will be ready for sleep. We're not going to be looking for the actual, not only physical release, but the release of the dopamine, which is in our mind, which is in our head, which helps us then sleep. Now, there's always this thought to action exercise. So spend 5-10 minutes. You know the drill. You've already been doing this in the other modules. So right now, I want you to spend 5 to 10 minutes. And I want you to write down what your triggers are. You can use the acronym HALT as your starting point, but you can even go deeper. I want you to go deeper, delve deeper into what your triggers are going to be. So not just say anger. Why? Why anger? Anger at who? Right? You're not just tired. Well, why? Why are you tired? See, the tiredness could be boredom and laziness, and there's other things. And in the course, we're going to talk all about that. But right now, in this short module, I want you to just identify what your triggers are. Now, when you're done with that, go to the next module. We're going to talk about changing our environment, not giving ourselves the opportunity for the triggers to manifest this continual addiction. So, see you next module.